I'm William Michael of the Classical Liberal Arts Academy, and today is Wednesday, September 7th. Our fall term begins on Monday, the 12th, and as of today, my tutoring schedule is completely booked from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. I don't believe there's a slot left. And so with that established and all of that booking set for the fall term, I'd like to talk to the parents who have reserved tutoring sessions about what to expect and how to prepare for tutoring with me in the Academy. The first thing that I want to make clear is that my mission in the Classical Liberal Arts Academy is to restore classical Catholic education. I'm not playing games with modern studies. I'm not playing games with modern education. I'm working to restore classical Catholic education. And in order to do that, I have to find good students who are able and willing to do the work to restore classical Catholic education. I can do the role and work of a teacher, but there's no such thing as a teacher without students. And so I am constantly working to attract and find and then invest myself in those students who will make this work of restoring classical Catholic education possible. So I want that to be understood as we get into tutoring, because tutoring is not some kind of game. Just because a parent pays for a subscription does not mean that they have some sort of claim to a spot in my tutoring schedule, because I have plenty of demand for tutoring, and I'll have plenty of students waiting on a waiting list, ready to go at any time. And if a student is not doing any work, is not coming prepared to our tutoring sessions, and is not making good use of these sessions, they're simply not going to continue, and I'm going to replace that student with a student who is willing to give it a try. And I'm going to continue to do that until my schedule is full of tutoring students who are doing the work and making good use of these tutoring opportunities. So as far as making use of these sessions, there are a few things that need to be very clear. Students are going to be meeting with me, and there are two possible uses of these tutoring sessions that parents need to choose from. I mean, they need to decide what they would like their child to do during these sessions. The first option is for me to help a student with a particular subject or course. So, for example, if a parent is concerned that a child make progress in Latin studies, a parent may reserve tutoring sessions weekly for me to work with a student in Latin studies. And that's what we're going to do. We're just going to focus on Latin studies, walk through lessons together, make sure that assessments are being passed in a timely way, and so on, trying to eliminate as many obstacles as possible so the student can make progress as efficiently as possible. That's one option for tutoring sessions, to focus on the actual study of a particular subject area or course. And I don't even want to say subject area because that's too broad. It's really for a specific course in the academy. The other option, which is the norm for tutoring sessions, is for us to use our weekly meeting for a general tutoring session through which I help to lay out tasks for students across all of their studies, provide support for them in all of their studies, and just make sure that everything is going well, everything they need is prepared for them, they have accountability for their studies every week, and they can come ask all of their questions, get thorough answers for all their questions, and make progress overall, generally speaking, week by week. That's the more common use for these tutoring sessions, because after all, we only meet for 45 minutes a week. and there's only so much we can get done. So parents have to choose one option or the other. We're not going to do both because it's simply not possible. I'm not going to try to plan out a student's week and do task lists and then spend the other half, which is only 20 minutes, trying to go through a course together. Parents need to choose one or the other, and that's what we're going to do. As far as the student's responsibility, like I said, if a student doesn't make good use of these tutoring sessions, we're going to stop them. And what good use means is that a student, when I give a student tasks to complete for the week, the student has a whole week to work on those tasks. If the student comes to tutoring sessions and the tasks from the previous week have not been completed, we're not going to continue tutoring sessions because tutoring is not necessary. The student's not working, and therefore the student is not acting like a student. The student is going to have to get tasks done each week. And I've been working with students for years, so I'm pretty good at understanding what's possible for kids in the course of a week. And the tasks that I give are going to be achievable. And so when students come and don't achieve those tasks, I may give the students a couple weeks and I may give the students some warnings. But when I see that this is just continuing, the tutoring is going to be over. We're going to get work done each week, or we're not going to have tutoring. They're not just hangout sessions for me to talk with kids and entertain them for 45 minutes. These are tutoring sessions. So students have to complete the weekly tasks, all of them, or at the very least most of them. They have to complete weekly tasks. That's responsibility number one for students in tutoring. Responsibility number two is that as students study through the week, they should keep a list of things they need help with. An exercise they don't understand, a passage they don't understand, something that was marked wrong on a quiz that they don't understand, or on an assignment that they can't figure out. They should come to the tutoring session with a list of questions that they need answered. And we'll use our tutoring session to get through as many of those questions as we can. And if there are any that we can't get through, I'm going to simply ask the student to email them to me, and I'll follow up after our meeting. But the student is going to bring that content to the meeting. The student is going to bring questions that need to be answered. And parents are welcome as well to make use of these sessions to get answers that they need. So you're going to bring questions to the tutoring session, and then I'm going to make use of that time to thoroughly answer all of those questions. That's what I offer. But I'm not coming with some kind of plan for the meeting to provide the content. And like I said, I'm not interested in entertaining for 45 minutes. I'm coming to get tasks laid out for the coming week, to go over the student's progress since our last meeting. I'm coming to answer any questions that the student has, to deal with a couple problems that I may be aware of on my side, like if I'm grading student work and I'm seeing a problem in the student's assignments, I may talk about that in the meeting, but that's it. I'm coming to help the students to go over their work from the past week, to lay out their tasks for the following week, and to answer questions. That's the purpose of these tutoring meetings. And so students need to be prepared for these sessions by having all their work done and preparing questions for our meetings. And it's fine if a parent prepares those questions, or even if a parent sits in and talks with me during the tutoring session. That's fine. But the tutoring session has to be understood as a time when I offer to help a student and a parent, or a parent who's coming to the meeting with questions and a need for help. That's how these tutoring sessions will work. As far as what the students actually need for the sessions, first of all, as far as technology, it's very simple, and you either have it or you don't. We're not going to fiddle around with oh, well, I don't have a computer, so I'm going to be on my phone. No, it's not going to work. The costs for this kind of video conferencing are ridiculously low. A Chromebook, for example, a Google Chromebook, you can get one for under $200, and it provides everything that a child needs to have video conferencing. So cost is not an issue. You need a good internet connection. You can't have some goofy, satellite rural internet service where you can barely download your email and think you're going to have video conferences. You need good internet service. You either need to be in a city where you've got, like a major broadband internet provider like Spectrum or, whatever the local company may be. We have Spectrum here in North Carolina. Our internet speeds are like 300 megabauds per second. There's no problem with video conversation. It's almost as clear as face-to-face discussions. You don't need to have that kind of speed necessarily, but it's got to be sufficient for us to have a conversation. It can't be cutting in and out, so you hear half of the sentence and you see me and I freeze up every 15 seconds. If that's all that you have in terms of internet connection, we just can't do it. It's not possible. And there are better options available for you for support than video-based tutoring sessions. So you have to have a device that allows for video meetings, and you have to have internet connection that's fast enough and reliable enough for internet-based video conversations. Those are non-negotiables. If we have our first meeting, during our first meeting, we'll work all those things out. We'll take a look at how the connection looks. We'll make sure that the kids have the equipment that they need. We'll make sure everything's working fine for the kids. And we'll use that first meeting to make sure that we have a green light for tutoring sessions to move forward. So we'll address those things. But if we find that the situation just doesn't allow for easy and clear communication, and doesn't have to be perfect, but it's got to be reasonably good. It's just not going to be an option. So we'll figure that out during the first meeting. The students can normally work with a Chromebook, something simple like that. Anything better than a Chromebook is not a problem. But a Chromebook is sort of the minimum standard. It's a simple little laptop. Like I said, they cost $200. They've got a monitor, a keyboard, and a webcam and a microphone, and there's nothing else the kids need. If the background is noisy where the kids are, they may need to get a headset so that they can hear me with headphones on, and also with a microphone that cancels background noise so that I don't have all of that noise coming through the microphone. So a headset may be necessary based on your situation. But the headset, again, is nothing fancy. The Logitech headset costs between $30 and $40, and you don't need anything fancier than that. You don't need some fancy, Bose gaming headset or anything like that. A simple Logitech headset, $30, $40 at the most, is all that you need. Technology and equipment is not a limiting factor. But we'll work on that in our first meeting, and if there's anything that's needed, I'll make it known after that meeting. I'll say, the kid really needs to have a headset, or that internet connection is not sufficient, or something like that. So anyway, you can probably have an idea of whether or not you're video conference capable before we have our meeting, and I'd appreciate that you do that. If you can barely watch videos, you're obviously not going to be able to conduct live video conference chats using your system. So figure that out beforehand if you can, and if you have any questions or just aren't sure, we'll figure that out during our first meeting, all right? Now, as for planning and working with the kids, I use a planner to manage their tasks, and I'm going to do this for every student. If you as a parent have your own planning system, that's between you and your children, but this planner that I use is for my sake. It's so I know what a student is doing, and I'm going to update it weekly for my own sake. And I'll put a link to the student's planner on their Study Center profile so they have easy access to it. But I'll basically be the one who manages the planner that I use. And it's really for my sake, so I can keep week by week track of the progress or lack of progress that a student's making. So there's nothing to worry about with that. I don't care what the kid's schedule is. Your family is free to make your own schedule, and that's one of the benefits of homeschooling, that if you have that taken away, if I start telling people what their schedule is going to be or doing things at certain times, it just defeats it takes away one of the best benefits of homeschooling, and I don't want to do that. So I don't care about the kids' schedules or what time you do things or how often you have the kids study a certain subject. I don't care if they're studying other subjects from other programs. I'm going to be concerned with classical Catholic studies and whether or not the student's making progress. That's all that I care about. So you don't have to worry about having everything coordinated and harmonized. I'm just going to make a task list for the student, and that task list is going to need to be completed. So other than that, I think it's just a matter of experience for those of you who haven't worked with video conferencing. It just takes some time to get used to so that the whole experience and the software becomes invisible and we don't pay attention to that anymore. There will be some clumsy, awkward times where the kids, start talking with their microphone turned off or, whatever. It doesn't matter. The kids should be relaxed. It's comfortable. I'm relaxed during these meetings. I understand you may have a busy household in the background. I have 10 kids at home. I'm not dumb. I know how family life works. I have the convenience of being here in a quiet office, but for the kids being homeschooled, I expect them to be in a homeschool environment, and you never need to worry about that. There are tools in the Google Meeting software that we use where the student can change his background or just make it blurry so I can't see what's going on in the background. The kids are free to use those things. I don't care about that. So you don't have to worry about too much. I'm not going to be sitting here judging the noise level of your house and looking in the background and trying to see what's going on. I'm going to be talking to the student and trying to get our work done because we've only got 45 minutes to get done what needs to get done. So don't stress about the details. Just try to give the kid a quiet, calm place so he can hear me and I can hear him. That's really all you need to worry about. If you've got any questions about tutoring before we get started, my wife is on live chat just about 24 hours a day now, once we get back into the swing of things. I'll be busy with tutoring all day. I'm not going to be available outside of tutoring for support anymore this term until Christmas time. So get used to talking to my wife, who provides support and handles all questions and issues on my behalf throughout the term. Every night when I get home 9:30 or so, and I sit down with my wife and we just talk about everything that's gone on that day. So any questions you ask that she can't answer, any issues that she can't handle herself, she'll just tell me about them at that time, and I'll sit down at night and take care of those things for you. But just get used to talking to my wife, communicating with her. She can help with just about everything. She's an experienced homeschooling mother. She's a classicist. She's a fellow lay Dominican. She's a homeschooling mother with 10 kids. She's been doing this for 25 years. She's already got homeschooled adult children in college. There's nothing that you're going to deal with as a homeschool parent that she can't help you with. So get used to working with her. You'll find her helpful. And she's a little more practical in terms of homeschooling than I am, just because I'm interested in the philosophy and the program and the curriculum itself. She's more of the homeschool support rep that I think you'll find helpful. So once we get started this fall, expect to communicate less with me, if at all, outside of our tutoring meetings, and just learn to communicate with my wife. You'll find her very helpful. So any questions, get in touch using the live chat on the website or email or create a ticket at help.classicalliberalarts.com, and my wife will take care of those issues for you and communicate anything to me that she can't help with. But other than that, we'll get started this Monday coming up. Make sure you check my schedule. Make sure you confirm the day and times of your meetings. Make sure you don't get time zones mixed up and things like that. And as long as everything is set, we'll use our first meeting just to get settled in and started. And then after 2 or 3 meetings, it normally becomes pretty comfortable and routine. And if the kids can make it that far, if the kids can get to that point where they're getting work done and they're making good use of their meetings and there's no other red flags, as long as we can get through the first few weeks, there's probably not going to be any problems. So do your best to help the kids get started, eliminate any equipment or connection issues, any distractions in the kids' studies, help the student get the tasks done each week, help the student prepare a list of questions or issues to talk about. And if you do those things, you do your part as a parent and as a student on your side, I'm all yours, and I'll work with and for you all day, every day, year-round. So just make good use of these opportunities because, like I said, there's a lot of people interested in tutoring and working with me, and I have to make the best use of this time. It's not up to me. I have to make responsible use of this time so that I can fulfill the mission of the Academy, which is to restore classical Catholic education. So I hope that's a helpful get ready message for tutoring sessions. If you have any questions, get in touch, and I'll see you next week. God bless.